Hi everyone and welcome to this, my video on lengths of curves in the plane. I know, very exciting, isn't it? My name is Darren from Maths Guru. Thank you very much for joining me. It's my little corner of the interweb where all these videos and downloadable lesson notes can be found. Now this video forms part of the Specialist Maths course here in Australia, but it's universal. Really, if you are looking to find the length, hopefully my theory will make sense and the examples will show you how to apply it. Why you would ever need to apply it, I've never yet walked through Coles or Tesco's or anywhere in the world and gone, oh, do you know what? I really do need to know the length of that curve. But anyway, we'll move on. Now, learning objectives, we'll understand how to find the length of curves in the plane. Yep, no, plane, not place. Now, before we go any further, yep, here is a spoiler alert. That is actually a screen grab taken from, well, probably a past formula sheet from VCAA. But realistically speaking, that formula sheet is amazing. It gives you all the information you probably need outside of sort of some extra stuff in your summary book. Integration, we've already dealt with that. We're now going to apply it to find, as I say, the curves. If you can do me a massive favor before I go any further and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Nobody watches maths videos. I mean, seriously, you're only watching this because you've got nothing else to do. I know, I get it. It's fine. But if you can subscribe, it's the only feedback I generally get. And obviously the lesson notes, the stuff I'm writing on behind me, if you sign up to Maths Guru, absolutely free videos are there to watch and lesson notes to download. Rightio, let's look at this. Now, do you remember when we did differentiation from first principles, we basically took a curve and we said, well, you know, if we were to draw, you know, lines between 2 points and they get successively smaller and smaller and smaller, we would eventually end up finding the gradient of the tangent at a point. Well, the theory for this is actually very, very similar, because if I was to say, for example, again, taking this curve of x squared plus 1, and I was to split that into a set of equally spaced, you know, line segments, if I was to make this section smaller and smaller and smaller, and this section smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and we were to sum all those together, oh yep, then ultimately we would be able to find the length of that line segment. All right, so let's go back to very, very basics. Let's assume we've got a super zoomed in part of that curve. We've got a point xy, and we've got another point here that is a delta x across. Now, if you do physics, you've probably seen delta x's before. Maths, not so much. But ultimately, it just means a little itty tiny, right? So delta x means a very small movement in x. Delta y, very small movement in y. And I've added here delta s. No idea why the textbook decides to call it s. And thank you, Cambridge, for allowing me to use your textbook work examples. Very, very excited. Thank you. All right, but the point of it is, let's call that delta x. Now, wherever we have a straight line, we can turn it into a right angle triangle. And wherever we have a right angle triangle, we can use Pythag or trig. Well, let's use Pythag. If I now know that this is a small distance of x, and this is a small distance of y, then effectively I can now write the idea that the hypotenuse squared, he says, writing d, not wanting to do that at all, delta s all squared is equal to delta x all squared plus delta y all squared. That's nothing more than, you know, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Now, because we seem to be able to do this, if we were to divide both sides by dx squared, if I was to divide that by delta x squared, and that by delta x all squared, and that by delta x all squared, what am I actually getting? Well, believe it or not, I've already done that for you. We get ds by dx all squared is approximately equal to 1 plus dy by dx, or delta y by delta x all squared. Okay, well, get rid of the squared. What do? Well, it becomes a square root. Can't be a negative in this situation because we're not going to be able to have a negative length, so I don't have to worry about the positive and negative section, all right? And ultimately, this is a bit of a hop, skip, and jump, but what this really was ds by dx, and I've multiplied both sides through by dx to move it up to here. So what we're now saying is we can find that little section there using this formula here. Now, wouldn't it be great if we had a way of, I don't know, making that distance smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller? Oh yeah, we have. Because what we can now say is, realistically speaking, that is now the square root of 1 plus dy by dx all squared times dx. But I want to sum all those little bits together between limits, because that's what